Alright, welcome to the Pteromon and Zephagamon guide with the Guardian Vortex starter deck and combining it with the EX7 set along with other cards. We can now combine them to make the full power guide, and let's talk about the new cards first. With the all new EX7 Fluffymon, Pteromon, and Galemon, they all have effects that help you gain memory back when you take down an opponent's Digimon by battle. The new priority is to rack up all of these so that you can now combine your Vortex synergies together to continue to attack your opponents over and over again. Pteromon provides Digivolve reduction into your Galemon, and Galemon plays you Shotos out for free. EX7 Grand Gale suspends down any Digimon, and you can also gain protection against the opponent's Digimon effects for an entire turn. And just like the starter deck Grand Galemon, you can unsuspend when you attack opponent's Digimon as well. The EX7 Zephagamon is great to deal damage against your opponents with security attack +1, but also provides an alternative way to remove the opponent's Digimon whenever you don't want to attack into them. EX7 Shoto gives even more memory for you to work with during your turn, and it's really important for you to combo it with your main stack as it gives it piercing and blocker and unsuspending so that you can use Vortex during the end of your turn. Those are the new main core cards from the EX7 set. Now let's talk about the promo cards. You guys might be thinking, oh no, here comes the promo Pteromon, but don't worry, I'm actually not running that card. As a matter of fact, I'm running the BT14 Palmon just because I want to get access to even more memory, and there's a lot of great synergy when it comes to suspending your opponent's Digimon, and with its inherent effect, the reduced Digivolution cost helps you climb even faster. And because of that, I am running the promo Galemon alongside because it has great synergy when it comes to suspending your opponent's Digimon and giving your stack extra DP for the turn. Since my goal is to climb out the Digivolution stack as soon as possible, I also splashed in the BT2 Argomon, which also lets us play Digimon at the same time. For other level 5s, I also added in Rapidmon, which de-digivolves, giving you access to different forms of removal and protection. With its inherited is one of my favorites because it trashes your opponent's security as long as you continue to take down your opponent's Digimon, which is what you mainly intend to. I also included Mega Gargoyle and Paladin Mode Ace as countermeasures to give the deck a little bit more defense capabilities aside from just relying on Shoto and blocker. If you guys are enjoying the new style of these deck profile videos, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Also give this video a like, and if it reaches 500 likes, I will take it to my locals tournament and you guys can experience the full gameplay guide as well. Let's now talk about tech choices and other cards that you guys can also include for this particular deck. Floodgate rookies such as Pteromon and Pomomon are always great depending on the meta and depends on what you're trying to stop. The promo Pteromon is fantastic at suspending down your opponent's Digimon, but aside from playing that card, you guys can also include Kiwimon or Wind Slicer as budget alternatives. Palmon X is another great one to add just because I play the Palmon package. Bushumon is also great for the inherited piercing effect, which I mentioned in the budget build, but also giving yourself a DP buff if you want to include some of those too. Togemon plays Tamers for cheap and can reduce Digivolution costs as you climb up, where Blossomon and HPD does the exact same thing too. Digimon Liberator and Vortex Resonance are fantastic tools to help you further search and offer unique applications for different situations. Cherubi Ace is another alternative counter card that you guys can play to give you another layer access of removal in the form of DP reduction and going wide at the same time. Speaking of removal, Giant Missile is also great for instantly bottom decking your opponent's Digimon. What other spicy tech cards are you guys playing for Zephagamon? Let me know in the comments. Alright, let's go ahead and show you guys some basic combos and some strategies on how to play this deck. When it comes to your opening hand, you want to find mulligan pieces, which are your 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, because you're trying to climb up and build your optimal inheritables. When you don't have your optimal pieces, this is exactly where you would utilize green memory boost and agility trainings to help you find them. So for combo number 1, all you need is your opponents to have a Digimon on the board, and you just start at 1 memory, and the condition is that you have your Fluffymon and you Digivolve into your Pteromon. Starting your turn at 1 memory, all you have to do is push out your Pteromon and you can immediately Digivolve into Galemon for reduced cost of 1, being at 0 memory. With Galemon's effect, you can now play Shoto because you have 1 or fewer Tamers, so then you can establish and set it up early as possible. Afterwards, to finish it off, you can actually go into Grand Galemon, the EX7 one, which passes your opponents to 3 memory. When Digivolving effect, you suspend down your opponent's Digimon so that you can go ahead and utilize Vortex. If your opponent's Digimon was suspended to begin with, this is when you can suspend itself to give itself immunity, and then you would utilize Shoto's end of turn to suspend to give it piercing and blocker to unsuspend. Afterwards, you can use VORTEX to attack before your turn ends, and by attacking over your opponent's Digimon, you'll pierce for 1 check, and as well as gain 3 memory back, retaining your turn. And this is how you want to finish it off, by digivolving either to 3 costs into your starter deck Zephagamon, and which also suspends down another Digimon, and afterwards unsuspend itself too, which is ideal. So now you have a standing blocker that's at least 11,000 DP. To further the bridge on, if your opponent has a second Digimon, this is when you would suspend it with Zephagomon's effect and attempt to attack over it again with VORTEX. And just being able to pull this off with 1 memory is just absolutely insane with this first combo. So for combo number 2, it's very similar, as you're starting off with just only 1 memory, but this is the time when you're not able to see as optimal stack as the very first combo, but you can still pull off some really quick tricks. First, of course, you just push out the Pteromon and reduce the Digivolution cost by 1 into Gaomon, which is a different one this time, so that you don't have enough memory to gain back. But that's totally okay, because you can then afterwards go into Grand Gaomon and passing to 3. Now, before you pass to 3, depending if your opponent has a Digimon on the board or not, if they do, you would use Grand Gaomon to suspend it down and use VORTEX to swing over it, and then you could get to gain 2 memory back, putting down your opponent to only 1 memory to work with. If they don't have a Digimon to begin with, then you would just suspend your own Grand Gaomon to give it protection. Now, the idea of having this Grand Gaomon on the board early is that depending on the matchup, if your opponent tries to attempt to swing at you, this is when you can threaten and surprise them with Mega Gargomon Ace, and alongside with Grand Gale protection, the Mega Gargomon can't be easily removed from your opponent's Digimon effects for that whole entire turn. So by doing that, you can now get access into a free level 6 Mega immediately and start exerting pressure and controlling the board. So for combo number 3, let's show you guys how I like to utilize the Palmon engine alongside with the Promo Gaomon to get maximum value, assuming you start your turn at 1 memory and your opponent has at least 1 Digimon on the board. So by pushing the Palmon up at the start of main phase, Shoto will gain you an extra memory. Palmon will give your opponent's Digimon lose 2 memory if it becomes suspended until the end of the opponent's next turn. And then after that, this is when you can Digivolve into Gaomon for the 2 costs. Gaomon will suspend down that exact Digimon so that you can gain the 2 memory back, because they're losing 2 memory. Afterwards, Gaomon will gain additional 2000 DP as well. And then afterwards, you will get to Digivolve into Grand Gaomon for actually not 3, but for 2 costs, because thanks to Palmon's inheritable, as long as you have a green tamer on the board. Afterwards, it's back to the same position with Grand Gaomon. Depending on what the board looks like, you can either choose to suspend your opponent's Digimon or yourself to get immunity. But let's just say we suspend ourselves to get immunity here. This is when you can go into the EX7 Zephagamon for 4 costs. You can utilize its when Digivolving effect to suspend either your opponent's Digimon, and in any situation where you have another Digimon that you have on the board, you can suspend your own Digimon to bottom deck your opponent's Digimon. Afterwards, you want to utilize the end of turn of Shoto to suspend it to unsuspend your Zephagamon to give it piercing and blocker until the end of the opponent's turn. Afterwards, you can then use VORTEX. You use VORTEX to swing over your opponent's suspended Digimon to pierce for 2 checks. As you're attacking with Grand Gaomon, you get to unsuspend again because you're attacking into opponent's Digimon. And then because of Zephagamon's when Digivolving and when attacking effect is not once per turn, you can suspend your own Zephagamon once more to bottom deck another suspended opponent's Digimon to get rid of entire board and pierce for 2 checks at the same time as your maximum combo with this particular card. Be sure to check out the budget build guide for this deck, especially if you're new to the Digimon card game. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video. And this is Vault, signing out.